Welcome to MESHUGGASTREAM Part 2. We're going to listen to Meshugga, which my mom reminded me is a Yiddish word for stuff, right? Junk and stuff. Meshuggas. Is it junk and stuff? Or am I thinking? No, I'm thinking of a shmata. What does it mean? It means something else. Crazy, insane. Okay, sorry. Anyway, it means crazy. Even foolish. So fun. Loco, yeah. I'm gonna periodically eat a treat. And no, you're not gonna want this, buddy. It's chocolate. It's maple chocolate. Kitties aren't into that, thankfully. I just gave him a piece of chicken, so now he's obsessed. He's like, "What's next, Mom?" Anyway, so we're gonna hang out for the next 2 hours and listen to your Meshugga requests. Please do put your request in the chat if you have the means. Make it a super chat. Can you even see me right now? I can't see you. Here we go. Let's get sugared. Oh, what was some of the great jokes y'all were making? Meshugga and cream, coffee and meshugga and cream or something? Oh. Whatever. Puns. Have you seen my video on, hang on a second. Have you seen my video where I listened to Meshugga first thing in the morning? I actually I planned it. I was like, for some reason, tomorrow morning, as soon as I wake up, I'm going to just immediately listen to Meshugga. So I got up out of bed. I didn't do anything. I just walked over here, turned on the camera and the lights, and began. And similarly, I just did not have a great night last night. So I am running low on sleep, which is perfect because I think it's funny listening to music like this when you're tired. Clearly. But I'm still going to definitely try to use my brain and figure some things out. Because how could I not? Yes. What songs did you do on the last one? I don't know. That would be a good thing to know. Let me see. I should probably be able to see the copyright claims on it. Ew. I know we did Bleed. A classic, right? Okay, let's see. Here we go. Dancers to a Discordant System, Born in Dissonance, Bleed, Concatenation, They Move Below, Clockworks, Straws Pulled at Random. I remember that one. Rational Gaze, and Future Breed Machine. And then I listened to some of Marrow. Well, no, I listened to all of Marrow on the first thing on the morning stream. We shuggin'. Okay. We have a request for Swarm. Okay. Let's do a format like last time. Let's do. Are there songs long? Let's do first 45 minutes will be general chat requests. And then the last, what is that? And then okay, whatever. And then rest of the stream will be super chats. Meshugga only. You know what to do. There we go. Man, that candy is good. Oh man, I need to... Okay. I'm going to have to hide this for myself. I'm going to take one more and I'm going to hide the rest. Because out of sight, out of mind works for me. Okie dokie. All right. I guess I should say one request per person. Oh well. Let me see. Can I copy this and let's see if I can do that. Boop. One request per person, please. Just so we can spread the love. Boop. Okay. Shug. The candy is the lint truffle with the maple for fall. But ooh, it is good. I'm sure it's all very artificial. Okay. All right. Let's do catch 33. I'm sorry. Catch 33. Okay. You got it. Coming right up. Is that a song? It looks like it's an album. Oh, okay. I guess let me clarify here. Meshuggah request a Meshuggah song. There we go. Okay. We're getting there. We're figuring it out. I swear I've heard Obizen. Right? Because we talked about it. I was like, Obizen. Yeah, so we've done that one. Okay. We've done, for those of you just joining, we've done Obizen, Dancers to a Discordant System, Born in Dissonance, Bleed, Concatenation, They Move Below, Clockwork, Straws Pulled at Random, Rational Gaze, Future Breed Machine. There could be some others that the whatever copyright thingy didn't pick up, like Obizen, I guess. Okay. It's a whole album, but it's also one song? Okay. Are you sure? But it's like one song. Oh, okay. Well, you know. Yeah, if you request like a really long song, and we have lots of requests, then I will cut it short. Let's put it that way. I will use my better judgment. I might skip around. Yes. Okay, so now that we have all the rules figured out, make your requests. Go. One song per person. Meshuggah only. Preferably not the ones we already listened to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have enough characters to pin all those songs, unfortunately. So I just have the list up here, and I will just, not play those again. Did we do Clockworks? That sounds familiar, too. Does anyone remember? Is anyone here for the first one? Okay, this one looks really... This person is very excited. 2 exclamation points. Lethargica. Okay, here we go. We're starting. Thanks for waiting. Sleep depressed. Oh, God. Okay. Tone. Thank you, Alec. I thought I did Clockworks. Thank you. This is so pretty. Very haunting. Wasn't sure. I know it's gonna happen. I like this part. Yeah, keep it going. Do you hear that? There's like a keyboard doing... Okay, here comes the piano. I was like wondering, I was like, am I gonna use the piano? Yes, I am. Okay. Get this fan on me. Get here. Okay. Let's see. Maybe something around those notes. Ah, sorry. But yeah, there was this, but there, I'm missing a note. There was like a funky. Oh, it's tritone, of course. I wouldn't say the song is in like a scale or something, but there are like moments that remind me of the flavor of different scales. And that one, I don't think I know. I think that might remind me of the, I think it's called the augmented scale or half whole diminished scale or some crap like that. Like it's an 8-note scale, I think. It's like... It's not that one. So yeah, okay. Either way, it sounds very exotic to my ears. It's like not a typical collection of notes, but it feels old world or something, like Eastern European, or like, you know, like I wouldn't be surprised if it was called like the Hungarian Gypsy scale or something, you know. It just has a actually kind of a maybe a little, you know what it does remind me of? Like some of the songs that so my technically I'm not Jewish, but it's in my blood. My mom's dad was Jewish. So there was some Yiddish happening. We celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas, and we sang some songs in Yiddish, and it kind of reminds me of like some of those songs. That might just be a coincidence, given that they're called Meshuggah, but I don't know. That's fun. This one, you know, it sounds like it's in 4/4, really slow 4/4. And someone was saying, "Oh, what's going on with the drums here?" This breakdown here, this part. Let's see. So cool. This is kind of a polyrhythmic sound where you have sort of a rhythm that's consistent, like da 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 da, right? Those are all equal distance away from each other time-wise. And then you also have the beat, which is this, but you overlap them and they interlock in really interesting ways, like da 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 da, and they sync up sometimes because they force it. They're like together. But this is a 4 against 3. So that's kind of how you could say it. Like one of them's 4, one of them's in 3, and they're against each other. And the drummer is doing the polyrhythm himself. So the guitar and bass are doing the 3, and the drummer is doing the 4 and the 3. So in his kick drum, he's doing the 3, and with the rest of his drums, he's doing the 4. So he's like he's got them both going at the same time. It's really fun experience to do that on drums, because you know you're already trying to coordinate 4 limbs, and then you get these interlocking rhythms that kind of have a mind of their own, but they relate. And when you can feel the relationship in your body and you feel them both separately and together, it's like nirvana. It's very, very cool. But yeah, so that's kind of what's happening there. Kick. It's a little synthy. Oh wait, yeah, and they also have some patterns that are like, say, I don't know, 7 notes long, and then other patterns that are, say, 8 notes long, and other patterns that are, say, 3 notes long, and they're all kind of going on. So they're overlapping as well, pattern-wise, just in terms of like this pattern is ending and then restarting before the other pattern ends and restarts. And so you get all these different combinations of lines, but they're all the same note groupings. So have you guys ever sung a round where you're like, I'm trying to think of a popular round. I know a bunch of not popular rounds. But basically, you start singing the song, and then the next person comes in maybe 4 bars later, and they start at the beginning, and you're like midway through. And then the third person comes in 4 bars after the second person. You get this cascade, but then you just keep going around and around and around and around, and you get these really interesting different combinations. It's kind of like a round on steroids, because the parts are different lengths, so they are restarting at different points. Eventually, it'll all come back to the same place where it began, but it might take a long time. So it's just a cool experience. That was cool. Yeah, I dug that one. I didn't understand a single thing he said. Just so you know, like at one point I was like, I should listen to the lyrics, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. He's screaming. I'll tell you that. Okay. All right. Next we're going to do Pitch Black. Okay. Whoa. This one I think is actually in 3. But we'll see what happens. A 6/8.
The soul burning hard, clapping to the beat of insolence, reality pursuing through flashes
of hate.
On repeat, to bleeding from spoken stabs, touching white furrows, seeing the flames fanned by the ever-distant souls. Saturated rate, the very scent of inhumanity, body my bad senses numbing, forever the cell-bone heart. The thousand burning plunged venomous thoughts injected, forgotten by elimination. Darkness is all there is. Let them come to fire fears. I tell you, tread this barren ground, out of reach of the living sun. Step into my oblivion. Come and walk this stacking ground. Feel free, stand as nothingness, out of reach of the sun. Step into oblivion. An incarnation of voice and comprehended stain, twisted eyes. My own laboratorious fears, my instinct continues to scan. Nailed to the fire, disgust, deceived by all American dates and misfits, self-disgrace, forever bound to bleed. Punished and used to ridicule, to change, strapped, earthbound, repelled by narrow-minded ways to stay on the perfect human ground. Humiliation floods the scene of that predestined blade, waiting to pitch black stage, the color shade of my everyday. Welcome, come, embrace your fears, or dare you tread this burning ground, bask in the light of a blackened sun, step into my oblivion. Come and walk the stacking round, feel free, stand as nothingness, out of reach of any sun, step into oblivion.
Oh man. Wow. I would listen to this one again and again. This one has so many interesting things to me. I mean, there's what's going on with the rhythm, which we're going to talk about, but it's also just really beautiful. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the lines, but tasty. And I loved the vocals. Like, that's just a completely different style. I really like that. I just think it sounded really good with that particular. I don't know, maybe I could just understand him better, or it's just a tone I like. I don't always like screaming. It really depends on how they're doing it. I've talked about this before, but like tonal screaming, I think sounds really good. If it's just sort of it almost just feels like white noise, and my brain just sort of almost like tunes it out a bit, unless it has a really, really compelling rhythm. But I wouldn't say that that's his strength. Like, I feel like he's, I don't know if strength's the right word. Choice, maybe. Like, he's not doing like super complicated rhythms, I think, the vocalist. Because the rest of the band is. Someone's got to hold it down, right? So, okay, so for those of you that are thinking about the rhythm, I was too, because immediately I was like, oh, this feels good. So I talked about this in another stream. It wasn't the Meshuggah stream. Time signatures are an invention of notated music. Okay, but usually it's more organic or intuitive, I guess, to like when you're playing music and you're not reading the music, you're just playing it and you're hearing it and you're feeling it in your body. Counting in note groupings is so much more intuitive. And there's certain like shorthand things, like you'll definitely hear musicians say like, oh, this one's in 4, or this one's in 7. And those aren't necessarily note groupings, but they are the bar length. But you notice the time signature has the 2 numbers, right? Like 7/8 or 7/4. That bottom number, I feel like, is less important when you're just playing music. It's necessary when you're notating music, because that bottom number tells you what type of note value has the beat, like an 1/8 note or a 1/4 note. It's the most common ones, right? So I'll just say that this song, the drums are mostly in some kind of meter of 3. So at first it felt like 6/8, and 6/8 tends to have a certain emphasis pattern, which is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and it has these 2 big beats, and then they're divided into 3 smaller ones. 1 and 2 and, right? Like a perfect circle is a great example of writing great rock music in 6/8. And then there's 12/8, which you might think is just 2 bars of 6/8. And it kind of is, but it tends to be a little bit faster, and it has a slightly different emphasis pattern. So that's going to be more like a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and because you can really feel the 1, 2, 3, 4, which is not like 6/8 is often slower, and you don't really feel 1, 2, 3, 4. You feel like 1, 2. You almost feel like it feels more waltzy almost. 12/8 is more like 4/4, but it swings. So like Pyramid Song, for example. Michael Jackson's The Way You Make Me Feel. Nine Inch Nails, the capital G. Capital G. Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. So you've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And instead of those being subdivided into 2, like it would be subdivided into 2 to get 4/4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Instead, it's 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, or a 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4. Okay, so it just has a completely different flow, even though there's this primary emphasis on these 1, 2, 3, 4s. So what I was hearing was more like a 12/8 kind of thing. There were moments where it felt like 6/8, which again it's like a related but slightly different emphasis pattern. And so in my mind, it started at 6/8 feeling, and then it switched to 12/8, and then it stayed like that. And if you emphasize every other quick subdivision, you can get a 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 2. It's really interesting. So they're playing with all of this. They're having so much fun with it. The guitar, though. The guitar was doing, like... I was trying to count it, and I didn't get it. I might just listen to it a little bit more just to see, because I feel like I'm close. But it was doing a repeating pattern that didn't... Again, it was sort of... It did not line up. The pattern ended in a different place than the drums pattern ended. So there was just sort of this... I guess that's still a... is that polymeter? No, that's not polymeter. It's still polyrhythm. Okay. Sometimes I get the polys mixed up. Okay, but it's going... The pattern itself is like not very natural feeling, so it's like hard for me to memorize it, but I'm gonna get it. Okay, it started over there. So they're playing this rhythm, and again, it's not lining up. The seams are not lining up with the drums. But then after, like, I think 8 bars, then the guitarist deliberately cuts his pattern short, wherever he happens to be, to start back over on beat 1 with the drums. So, you know, they know exactly what they're doing. I mean, I know that. I know you know that, but... Okay, so, but if I could just get... I just would kind of want to know, like... And because it's like long, there's like some quicker ones, but they kind of are blending together because of all the distortion. I'm trying to like separate them because that would really help me get the rhythm, but. Da 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 is the first part, but then. Fuck. Da, da, da. Da 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 da. Okay, so it's long, quick, long, da. And then they have a pause, and then when they restart the pattern, they start it not on beat 1. That's the thing. So it's like da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like I can't seem to quite get it and like how long it is. But that was going, so that part was like kind of throwing me at first, but then I just sort of like tuned it out and just started listening to the drums. Right, so that you have that nice 3, and they're really tom heavy, and I'm super into that. And then, what was the?
An incarnation of worlds and comprehended stained twisted eyes. My own victorious fears, my instinct continues to scan. Now to the fire disgust to see my old American dates and methods of disgrace forever bound.
Totally a scale. At least that part. Oh, right. Ta-da-da. So this fits with Phrygian dominant. Sorry, yeah. There we go. How good is that? So, I also liked how this song kind of like did some nice breaks, just like silence or just a full breakdown and restarted. It was kind of a nice, like, I don't know. I feel like the other stuff that we've listened to, both this stream and the last one, is a bit more relentless. This one was, you know, just a little bit easier to handle, but I'm mainly just enthralled with the rhythms. It's just so cool. And then like this whole part sounds so cool. So it's up here, and the kind of screamy guitar is in octaves. Just kind of going up the scale, I think, right? That's such a strange feeling note. Okay, so it's not going up the scale, but it's just going up. And it's just building and building. That's really nicely arranged. Very exciting. I will listen to that one again. Heck yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay. We're going to do one more from the general chat, and then we're switching to super chats. Let's do Acrid Placidity. Oh yeah, those fills were amazing. Ready. Sounds like Lydian. So pretty. Ooh. It's falling apart. Oh wow, it just gets bendier and bendier. So different. Okay, so this one's like, I mean, there's a little bit of drum action, but you know, it's just little touches here or there. It's not groove based whatsoever. Obviously, really shimmery. What's that? It has that like 80s shimmery guitar sound, doesn't it? The one that's doing the lead, the arpeggios. Not the lead, like that sounded also kind of 80s though. There were a lot of moments that sounded like they were kind of playing in a mode, which is a scale. It's a scale. But Lydian was like the predominant sound, which sounds like this. I'm not sure if I was really hearing the seventh at all. So the seventh could be this or it could be this, but sorry. And they started down on C and then they like would play an arpeggio over that chord, then they would but for a long time, to the point where all you can imagine is that this is where your ear is oriented, and then they would go up from there and then stay there for a long time. So you kind of reoriented to a new key center essentially over time, and then they would move up again, and they ended up at F eventually. But whenever they moved, it felt as if they possibly landed into Lydian again. So possibly just changing key Lydian over and over again. But I'm not 100% sure, because there's a lot of interesting notes happening. I mean, they're so liberated. I doubt that they're like, let's write something. I think they're just, they're not bound by any sort of musical rules. Some of us had those instilled upon us, inside of us when we were younger, and they, are actively breaking them. Other musicians never had the rules in the first place. See, that doesn't sound like Lydian. Okay, but then, okay. So here's C, and this sounds kind of minor-y. Yeah, kind of minor-y. Until that note, then it sounded like Dorian. Minor and Dorian are only one note difference, which is this note here versus this one. So yeah. Okay, so Dorian. Love Dorian. And then eventually it moves up to C sharp or D flat. Let's say D flat. This does sound like Lydian now. Nope. I don't know what that scale would be. It's got a minor third, and it's got also a tritone. Some mode of harmonic minor. So haunting, and then it moves up to back to C. So you see what I mean? Now it's E flat, and this is Lydian. So all of these scales have a little different bit of a flavor, I think, in my opinion, Dorian sounds a little more magical and a little bittersweet. It's a little sad, just a little bit, often, not always. Whereas Lydian is more light and floaty and curious, used a lot in film scores. So you kind of, I don't know, it's an interesting sort of study in modes. I don't know what this one is. Actually, where's my little book? It's not here. I have a book with a list of all these modes. That one sounds like it's a mode of harmonic minor. But that one has this really mysterious sound, doesn't it? Especially because of that sound, right? Anyway, very cool. The boom. That boom, boom. Almost sounds like a timpani. An orchestral timpani. Boom, boom. That's just cool, Wow. Bye, Clores. And then, in the end, it all falls apart. They just bend and bend and bend. It gets bendier and bendier. And the more you bend a pitch, the more it feels dissonant and chaotic and less organized. Because our ear is trying to make sense of what's happening. And now there's all these in-between pitches they were introducing. And it's just, very cool. It's not Locrian, no. Locrian, I could see them writing in Locrian for sure. Locrian is hard to make sound good, except for when you're trying to make music that, how do I put this? That's supposed to kind of hurt you a little bit. you know, because it's just not a very graceful scale. And so it's great for metal, but it's still not, a lot of metal isn't in Locrian because Locrian lacks something very important to music. It lacks the perfect fifth, which is like universally, I mean, I literally mean it's universal. Every time you hear musical pitch, you're hearing a bunch of overtones, quieter, higher, faster vibrations. And you just don't really perceive them like literally, but you can hear them if you really pay attention. And the first harmonic is an octave and the next one is a perfect fifth. So we're often hearing it kind of subliminally. So power chords are built on perfect fifths. Everything's sort of built on perfect fifths. It's sort of the yin to the yang. It's like, you know, I don't know. You kind of need it. And so without it, it sort of all feels like it's just collapsing on itself. So this is what Locrian sounds like. Let's do. So the home chord of Locrian is, which just sounds like a box that's falling apart. Instead of, right, you don't have that. It's this. It's just very, very, very weird. But anyway, there's a video if you want to know more about like how to make Locrian sound decent. It was an Adam Neely video, and I think 4 different musicians took a stab at it. And one of them made surf rock, and that actually worked really well. The other one that I really liked was actually really cool. It had a kind of haunting female vocal, and she did a good job. It was cool. Anyway, so that was very interesting. I enjoyed this one. I would listen to that one again for sure. Okay, friends, it's time for Super Chats. Put your request in the Super Chat, no minimum. I'll copy this. Oops, here we go. Now I have the Locrian song in my head. It was like, something. Oh, it's so hard to sing. It's so hard to sing. Oh my goodness. Okay. One. Okay. Cool. Oh, do 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 do. Whatever. Ooh, ooh. I have one super chat, but it's not for a Meshuggah song, so unfortunately I will not be able to oblige today. I'm sorry. Nobody? Well, Ixie's gotta pay her bills. Can you help a girl out? Also, do you like my mug? I think it's awesome. Yay, Nick! Soulburn. Alright. That's a good title. snare. Ugh. Oh! That's on like a... I love the snare accents on those offbeats. What? Oh my god. This is like what inspired Tigran Hamasyan. Giant polyrhythm. Nice. Oh my god. So this was earlier Meshuggah. Wow. Okay. So many things. So guess what? Tons of polyrhythms. My favorite one that now is stuck in my head is this one. Dun, 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 dun. So whatever that da 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 rhythm is, we can find out what container it's in. Because it's a short long short long short long. We can find its pulse essentially, like its equidistant rhythmic pulse. So da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's in 5. Da 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 da. Like 5 quick ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Da 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 da. Over the 4 4. Da 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 da. That's a good one. I love that one. And the vocals were really cool. He's yelling on the and then sometimes more, I don't know, it's more of them or more of him, chime in on some of them, and I couldn't predict when. That was so exciting, such a great like little arrangement touch. Okay, so that's in my head now. But even like, I mean, the whole thing. Oh, yeah, so they had this dun 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 with the 4 against 3 again. Then this part, I think, was like this part. This kind of polyrhythm, and I would say, actually, maybe it's less polyrhythmic and more just insanely syncopated, like the offbeats of the offbeats, like probably 16th and 32nd note offbeats. This is the sound I associate with Tigran Hamasyan, who I have brought up in other live streams, and y'all said, hey, Tigran Hamasyan was inspired by Meshuggah, and I was like, cool, I don't know who that is really. So now I'm really hearing it. I'm curious if this part, it'd be interesting to hear more songs that have that kind of going on, because I love Tigran Hamasyan. I'd love to hear more of what inspired him, because so by the way, if you don't know who I'm talking about and you love this kind of Meshuggah, you got to check out even just one song. Just check out Entertain Me. Dun 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 dun. So yeah, I guess for Tigran it is like a polyrhythm and insanely syncopated. But anyway, that was just exciting for me to hear that. That was so cool. I hear where it came from for sure. But that, I mean, this truly is so, you've got to feel it so deeply in your body to stay on. Like, you know, you've heard people say like, oh, the drummer knows where the one is. This drummer knows exactly where the one is. His life depends on it. and you know, when you know where one is, no matter what your body is doing, you can always find your way back, and he knows exactly where he is at all times. It's crazy. Wow, it's so good. So yeah, mostly noticing the rhythms in this one. I wasn't really hearing any like riffs where I was like, ooh, I like the melody, so to speak, or whatever. So I'm not going to go into anything there. It didn't really stick with me that way. It was all just rhythmic and textural. Yeah, that was good. I would listen to Soul Burn again for sure. That was a good one. Yeah, it's quite impressive. I mean, it really is so impressive. It's fun. Like, you know, you can listen to music and have all these like really intense like emotions, you know, memories, and feel moved to tears, or feel, you know, like, oh, I understand what this person's talking about, you know, or you can hear something beautiful and just feel like overwhelmed by emotion. And then you can listen to music, which for me, this is I mean, sure, I'm having emotions, but it's more like I'm tickled. It's tickling me. It's not the same thing. Like, but it's still very exciting and visceral and full body. It's just like my intellect is a little more engaged maybe than with like music that's just like making me bawl, you know? But it still doesn't feel entirely analytical. It feels, I still feel body sensations and like, you know, I'm at the mercy of the music, you know, when it's loud, I'm like, and when it breaks down, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm along for the ride. And I think that's great. That's so much fun. And, but yeah, it's definitely nerdy. This is nerdy. It's nerdy. Okay. Next one is Ligature Marks. Ruh-roh. Okay. So lullaby, right? Trudgy. Down an octave there. Toms. Oof.
So here we are, tearing at
void will swallow the thing inside. Nice. Ooh, that one was sludgy and trudgy and chuggy. Really fun. Stank face for sure. With, just really pretty melody at the end. This one, so the bend, I was trying to figure out where it was going to land because as with all their other stuff, there's a pattern and they just repeat the pattern. The pattern does not line up with the bar, so it starts a little later, earlier or something. So it's longer or shorter, I guess what I'm saying, than the phrase of the drums. And so I didn't quite figure out what it was, but I could tell that, there was like one time where the bend would line up with beat 1, and then the next time it would be on like a 16th note offbeat. So at first I started trying to count like like how many of those it took before it started over. Come to find out, it was actually whatever the pattern was. It didn't equal to any whole integer of those. It started over halfway through one of those meaning 16th notes. So it was some something, maybe it was even 36. I can't remember, but it was so very syncopated off the beat when it would hit the next time. And then it would hit a different syncopated part the third time. And then I don't know, eventually it would land back on beat 1, which I could feel it. It was like, whoa, And someone else was saying that they can't count it, but they know when it's going to happen. You know the song really well, right? And eventually, listening enough, I would probably be able to predict it too. But first listen, no. It was just like always so unexpected when that bend would happen. So that was really fun. Toe beans. All right. Oh, he moved it out of the way. That's too bad. They're really cute. And then, what else? There was another thing I wanted to say about this one. Well, this last part was really beautiful. There's definitely like something to the note choices that this lead guitarist leans towards. Like, I made a whole YouTube channel on basically studying why Trent Reznor sounds like Trent Reznor, like why his compositions sound like him, and why, because it's unusual. They definitely seem to have their inclinations, this lead guitarist. I haven't listened to enough yet to tell you exactly, but I do often hear like a tritone in there. Also hearing a lot of the major sixth. A lot of that, but there's other things too. Anyway, I love that last part. It was actually so beautiful, and I was trying to play along with it. They're so pattern based. They had this line, they repeated it, then they kind of took the whole line and sort of moved it down, and then they did that, and then they went back to the other one, and I really feel that they write in patterns. And honestly, I think that's what most music is patterns anyway, but this is particularly pattern based. It's so fun. Okay. Dave asks, have I ever done Tool? Have I ever? If you go to my channel after this, type in Tool, There's a 5-hour live stream of me breaking down Anima. There's a video on Lateralis the song, Parable and Parabola. And so at the very least, there's those. And then I've done Lateralis the album on Patreon. It might be public at this point. You can go to Patreon and search and see. Yeah, so I've done Tool and I'm not finished. Just starting. Yeah, that was very cool. Okay, great request. Okay, next. Next is The Exquisite Machinery of Torture. Oh my God. Listen to where he puts the cymbal crashes. Okay, really like the vocals on this one, I have to say. The way that they recorded and mixed his like I'm a demon in your ear kind of vocals really sounds amazing. It's just so good. It's so wide and so intimate and so like inside of your head. And he was a lot more rhythmically intricate, I guess, here. Like da 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 da. There was just a little bit more contrast in some of his like longs and shorts and some more syncopation and things. And so yeah, I found that really exciting. I thought that sounded super good. This one is also in 12/8. So you can hear that 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But inside of it is a package of 3. That's how you know it's not 4/4. But what's cool is that the drummer is both emphasizing that as well as sort of a halftime. So you have a yeah, anyway, it was just really good sounding. And then the guitars and bass going I didn't get the pattern, but it was some, again, let's just call it hyper syncopation. Like, yeah, offbeats of the offbeats, man. Like just so syncopated. To the point where there was a couple times where I lost the one. I was like, whoa, it almost felt like when you have some momentum and then whatever vehicle or thing you're in like stops, like an elevator or something, and you're like still moving, and it was just so bizarre. But then I got back on. Nice. I feel like I'm forgetting some parts, but anyway, that's what stuck with me for that one. That was fun. Damn. Good. I like these guys. Okay. Lucan's request. Into Decay. Guys, distort it. Woo! See, you get to do this stuff with slow drum beats. I love slow drum beats.
The most eloquent confession, your silence. The most admitting traitor turning away. Avert your eyes and hush your struggling thoughts. Detachment, assault, as life mutates into decay.
Whew. Minor tense.
Manifest sign, your disregard. The one apparent for your shining of care. Contempt now bred, farewells astray. Division now grown, the shadow will return.
drums. Here's the minor 10ths again, right? That's a tritone. This is another great example of like their melodic sound. Now I really want to figure out what it is. What a great build. Yeah, so good. Okay, this was amazing. I love it when they do this kind of thing where they just sort of super sludgy in the low end, kind of just repetitive, mostly kind of just on one note. It's sort of like a drone kind of feeling, often some kind of bending. But yeah, it's very establishing. And then the like upper guitars are just sort of doing these like long notes in harmony. There's been a couple others during the stream that have been like that. There's these two higher guitars in harmony. And they're just sort of, they're creating this sort of endless cycle feeling of like never quite resolving, always searching and in harmony with each other, maybe reaching up and then kind of falling down, starting back up. And it just feels like the more it goes on, the bigger it feels. And it's very exciting. I love that feeling of music like building, and the pressure building. It's also very pretty, but yeah, they do have this really interesting sound with, I'm still forming my hypothesis, but there's a lot of tritones and I think thirds. So tritone sounds like this. See, this one was in that sound. But also there were like definitely thirds. Not those. Maybe those kind. They also like the flat 7 and the raised 6th. Right? Doesn't it kind of sound Meshuggah-y? Haunting. And then they'll like often go like up a step, like a little higher than you think they're going to go. Like they sort of like miss the mark of what like a scale would do. They kind of like go a little higher, and it's just this like bizarre feeling. Like there's a chord called an augmented chord, and I kind of feel like they end up with that sound a lot. It sounds like this. Listen. That kind of sound, like maybe not explicitly, but it's that feeling. It's cool. It's like hinged. Okay, so yes, I have done a MESHUGGASTREAM part 1. So after this, if you want more, you can go search my channel for MESHUGGASTREAM, one word. You'll see part 1. Actually, I think it says MESHUGGASTREAM, or no, maybe it says my first time listening to Meshuggah. Anyway, just type in Meshuggah. You'll see. And we listened to, Bleed, Clockwork, The Dancers to the Discordant, something, something. I had the list over here. I closed it, unfortunately. Pulling Straws Pulled at Random, and I actually played that one. I had to figure out how to play it. So there's a whole, 10 minutes of me just figuring it out and then playing it. And a bunch of other ones. So yes. But it was very enjoyable. Okay. So here's what we have left for requests. But you can still make a request if you haven't. We're gonna play Broken Cog. And then I'm guessing it's called I. Uh-oh. I think, hang on. My mouse just died. Come back to life. There we go. Yeah, I and Broken Cog is what's on tap. But I should have time for at least one more, if not two more, if you have a couple dollars and you really want to request something. Meshuggah. Okay. Nameless Wallaby. Well, I'm in the super chat portion now. Oh, right. Sorry. You're right. Because you asked me to make a choice. Okay. I don't know. I'll do a poll. Okay. I'll do a poll. Combustion. Okay. Bam. Looks like I had preemptively hearted your comment, which is how I keep track of which ones I've done. Sorry. Okay, here's Broken Cog. Like it's in 3. 1, 2, 1. We'll see what happens because it can change. Parallel thirds in the guitar. What a great groove. Love those pauses. clean. Kick drum following the guitar. Pretty. It's an F. There's that 6th and flat 7. Right? Okay. Cool. That was good. Very tom heavy. I'm a huge fan of toms. Yeah, that one was also in the 3 thing. But then of course there was some polyrhythm going on with the or something. You know, I don't know. Just the rhythm that was overlaid over that. I really like it when this vocalist does other things with his voice than screaming. I'm not saying his scream is bad or anything. I just think he has a lot of range, and I just really like it when he does other stuff. It sounds really good to me. So the whispers sound awesome. So cool. Okay. All right. My brain just suddenly was like, okay. Let's move on to I. Now I know this is a very long song. So, because I want to get to the other one, which it looks like Rational Gaze wins. So I'm going to end the poll there. So we'll do some of I, and then we'll do Rational Gaze, and then call it a night. Okay. Come here. And was there a part of I that you particularly wanted? I feel like I saw you comment a timestamp, but it is long gone now. So let me know. I want to make sure I get to the parts you like. All or nothing? So no parts? You don't want me to play any parts of it? Okay. Well, I can't play 21 minutes long. Sorry. Okay, Irrational Gaze. I like juice. Is he really saying I like juice? No. This is a minor knife. Ooh. Whoa. I can't stop smiling. Damn. Patterns upon patterns upon patterns. Tight, toit, toit. I like juice. What was that? Was he literally... Is it a misheard lyric? Please tell me. I just can't imagine him going, I like juice. But that would be so funny if he did. I mean, what else could it be? Juice? Wow. Rational gaze? I don't think it was irrational, but okay. La 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 la. 4-4. Yep. But with, you know, something in something else going on over it. Down, 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 down. Who knows? 5, 7, 9, 11. Something weird. Something weird. But yeah, it's so interesting listening to them. Damn. Sorry, my comments are getting more and more stupid as I go along, but that's how it goes. I like brain juice, and I'm running out. Okay, all right, we'll spend the rest of the stream listening to I'll play like half of it, and then I can say some things about it. And somebody, so not Michael, but Jesse, I think, said that starting at 12:18 is like their favorite part, and you asked for it slowed down. I love the idea, but I think whoever requested the song and paid money should get to dictate if we slow it down or not, because that's a change. That's definitely a change. So I'll just play it at regular speed unless Michael's like, yes, slow it down. And I could play. I mean, if I don't say anything about it, I could just talk over it, whatever. We'll have time to just listen until that 14.5-minute mark. So we could just do that. Want to do that? Carlos had a super chat. Oh, I see that now. The ending beat of Soulburn is the... Oh, no, Carlos... Well, Carlos had a super chat where he was just commenting on the end of Soulburn, but I don't see a request there. Sorry. Okay. So, Michael, here we go. Let's do Some of I. Little bit. Drummer is insane. God. Oh my God. Phrygian. Oh, wait. No, it's not Phrygian. It's on one of those weird scales. Chicken to chicken. It's in 4/4. I lost the one. Duck, 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 duck. That might be a 3 against 2.
Might be that.
Oh my god. Okay, maybe it's 3 against 4. Now oh my god. Focus on the hi-hat. God. Yeah, this is what I should have listened to first in the morning. I don't trust them. They're playing a minor ninth over and over again. I think. Yeah. Wow. I have nothing more to say. Thank you for coming to MESHUGGASTREAM Part 2. Yes, I will attend to your needs. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for your requests. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for almost trying to kill me. I will never do this again. I'm kidding. I probably will. Killed it, bruv. Okay, Pax, I'm coming. Okay, guys, I do have to go. That was part of I. And I'm literally lightheaded. Thank you so much. I'm fine. I'm just tired. I will see you at the next live stream. 2020 songs are on Sunday. And then something else will be happening on Wednesday.